All right, let's get to Ian Castleberry. Always great to catch up with our baseball go-to guy. Also does a great job with our NFL Gold Nuggets Thursdays as well. Ian does a lot of different things. And, of course, you can follow Ian at thecomeback.com. You can also go to awfulannouncing.com. Ian does great writing there. And, of course, like both on Facebook. And we always appreciate Ian playing with us. And Ian's appearance presented by Happy Hill Restaurant. Ian, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing great, yeah. Beautiful day today.
It is, for sure. And confirm or deny, a big panda sighting in Atlanta? And I'm not talking about the Atlanta Zoo, but more like the Braves?
Yeah, the Atlanta Braves, they picked up Pablo Sandoval at the end of last season. He wasn't really a factor in the postseason, so people might not remember that. But he stuck around. The Braves gave him an opportunity to win a job in spring training, and he has indeed done that. So he'll be signed to a one-year $1 million major league deal. He's going to be a backup. I mean, Pablo Sandoval is not the player that he used to be. He batted .220 for the San Francisco Giants before he joined the Braves last season. But, yeah, he's going to be a backup player, probably back up Austin Riley at third base, maybe fill in for Freddie Freeman at first base, possibly be a DH when the Braves play in American League cities. But the Braves are hoping that he can kind of find the form that he had in 2019 when he was actually really effective. He batted .268 2 seasons ago, 870 OPS, and 14 home runs. So if he can find that form and give the Braves a good bat off the bench, now whether he's a better right-handed bat or a left-handed bat off the bench, as a switch hitter, I suppose remains to be seen. But this is a good depth move for the Atlanta Braves.
There you go. That's why we asked that question. And, boy, if they get the 2019 Big Panda, they would be pleased with the Braves. And by the way, Ian, as spring training is now, teams are heading north and heading east and heading west. They're breaking up. Any news out of Florida and or Arizona worth passing along?
I don't know if you covered this last week, but Eloy Jimenez, the White Sox star left fielder, he hurt himself trying to make a catch at the wall, jump over the wall and rob a home run. But in doing so, he ruptured his pectoral tendon, so a chest/shoulder injury there. He's going to be out for 5 to 6 months. That is a huge bat out of that White Sox lineup, and many thought the White Sox are the favorite for the AL Central title. But 14 home runs last year in the shortened season, 31 home runs in 2019. So that's a really big bat to take out of that lineup. But if one team can afford to lose a bat like that, maybe it's the Chicago White Sox. It appears that the guy that's going to take over that spot, either left field or DH, is Andrew Vaughn, who was their number 1 draft pick in 2019, number 3 overall in the draft out of Cal Berkeley. He might be the guy to take over for Eloy Jimenez, who is going to miss a significant chunk of this season.
Ian Castleberry with the Wise Guys on the D.C. Creasman Jewelers Wise Lines, and talk of Major League Baseball headlines presented by Happy Hill Restaurant. Ian, let's get a couple of division previews in. We'll save the AL or the NL East and the Braves for next week, but let's go to the National League West. Is this the Dodgers' division to win?
It still is. The San Diego Padres are making major strides to overtaking the Dodgers, but I think it's 1 to 2 seasons at least before that's a realistic goal for the San Diego Padres. The Padres, they have the best young star in Major League Baseball in Fernando Tatis Jr. They added Blake Snell to their starting rotation, but the Dodgers this was the best team in baseball, World Series champions, and they added Trevor Bauer to that rotation. They have talent. They have depth. They lost Jock Peterson. They lost Enrique Hernandez. But those were role players that can be replaced by the depth in that Dodgers organization. There are some concerns. Maybe Clayton Kershaw did not have a good spring training, a 10.22 ERA. Is he hurt or was he working on things? I think you do have to wonder if Kershaw is kind of limping into the season. Walker Buehler also struggled this spring, a 7.94 ERA. But if any team can withstand having problems with their starting rotation, it is the Dodgers. This is a team that has David Price on its roster, and he won't make the opening day rotation. So that tells you how good the Dodgers are. So I think it's Dodgers first, Padres second, Arizona Diamondbacks in third. The Diamondbacks, I don't, where's their big bat? Where's their pitching after Madison Bumgarner? The Giants, they're pretty much in rebuilding mode. And the Rockies, they're going to be one of the worst teams in baseball, I think.
Oh.
And the big question with them is whether or not Trevor Story, their shortstop, will be with them through the end of the season.
Oh, boy. Man, the poor Rockies. Well, we don't have to worry about that. By the way, speaking of the Rockies, former parent club of the Asheville Tourists, it was announced today, and thanks to Doug Maurer for letting us know that Nate Shaver will be the new manager from the Astros organization for the upcoming Asheville Tourist season. All right, so the Dodgers looking good in the West with some challenges from certainly the Padres. How about the National League Central? This seems to be a division that's a little more up for grabs, would you say?
Yes, but I think the St. Louis Cardinals are clearly the favorite. They added Nolan Arenado. We were just talking about the Rockies and former Asheville Tourist, all-star third baseman. So that's a big bat and an outstanding glove to add to that lineup. The question maybe with the Cardinals is their pitching rotation deep enough? Adam Wainwright, probably number 3 in that rotation. Would he be that high in other rotations? Maybe not, but certainly a veteran of the Cardinals who deserves to end his career with that team. So I think the question with the Cardinals is, are they deep enough? But it might not matter because the other 4 teams in the NL Central don't necessarily appear to be trying to win the division. I think the Cubs will finish second. They're retooling, especially their pitching rotation. They traded Yu Darvish. Kyle Hendricks is really the only holdover. John Lester was also let go. They added Jock Peterson, who I think is going to have a monster season batting in Wrigley Field. That was a good signing for the Cubs, but will Chris Bryant be traded? What are they going to do with Javier Baez? The Milwaukee Brewers may challenge them for second place. I have the Brewers in third, but they may have better pitching than the Cubs, and they did add Jackie Bradley Jr., who will certainly help their defense and hopefully adds to their offense as well. But pitching might give the Brewers the edge over the Cubs. And then in fourth place, I have the Cincinnati Reds. I don't know what the Reds are doing. They looked like they were on the verge of making a push toward contention, but they just kind of put the brakes on that. They lost Trevor Bauer. They traded Raisel Iglesias. I don't think the Reds quite know whether they're a contender or they're rebuilding. But there is one team that is unquestionably rebuilding, and that is the Pittsburgh Pirates, who might end up being the worst team in baseball this season. I would challenge you, I would challenge the listeners, name one Pittsburgh Pirates player, and I think that tells you how the Pirates will do this year.
I'll pass on that, Ian. Thanks, though. By the way, Ian, before I let you go, because you're a pop culture guy, the new Zack Snyder, the Justice League redo, that's been getting much better reviews, and I was checking it out. I'm apparently I'm going to have to set aside an entire afternoon to see it. That thing's over 4 hours long.
It is over 4 hours long. Zack Snyder, all the footage. With the backstory, he was kind of booted off the Justice League project. But he may have left due to personal tragedy. His daughter died from suicide, unfortunately, and he. All the footage that he filmed for Justice League was cut out when Joss Whedon took over. So the movie that was released in theaters, this is a much different movie with almost all new footage. So that's why it's 4 hours. Just like anything that Zack Snyder filmed is in this Zack Snyder cut. It is broken up into 6 parts along the way, so that kind of gives you maybe just watch part 1 and then stop, come back for part 2, etc. But it is one big 4 hour chunk. It's a better movie, but it's very long, and I don't think that movie would have been released in theaters at 4 hours. So in some ways, I think it's unfair to compare the two versions of Justice League. But it is, if you're in favor of a director getting to show the film that he set out to make, it's pretty cool that that's available on HBO Max if you want to take the time to watch it.
Man, I know. I showed that to Kathleen. She's like, "You're going to be breaking this up?" I'm like, "I don't know yet." I may try and go for the entire 4. I hate to leave a movie then come back to it, but sometimes you got to do that. But his version's been getting really good reviews, Ian. And are you included in that?
Yeah, I think it's definitely a better movie. The characters have fuller story arcs than they did. The one that the Justice League that was in theaters felt very truncated. So some of the newer characters that aren't as familiar, of course, there's Superman, there's Batman, there's Wonder Woman, but the Flash, Aquaman, Cyborg, who's a character that fans might not know about, they get much more story. The villain has a much better story in this. He's a little more fearsome. But it also is a movie that was clearly made with sequels in mind. And not to spoil anything, but you're going to watch a 4-hour movie and think, oh, there's more story to come. But that's probably not going to happen. So it is one part, unfortunately, a very long part, but it's one part of what was intended to be a longer story, an even longer story.
Wow. All right, man. Well, thank you for setting me up for this. I will be ready to go. When, I don't know. I just got to find a chunk of the day where I'm like, hey, I got nothing to do this afternoon. Let's make this happen. So always appreciate you weighing in on this, Ian. I joke, and it's really only half a joke. Every once in a while, Kathleen will say, so, well, how did Ian like it? Forget about what I thought. Well, how did Ian like it? But you're the guy to do that with. So we appreciate you, man. As always, you can ask Ian any question. He'll just throw you an answer out. And we really appreciate you, my man.
All right. Happy to help you and Kathleen with your movie viewing. Yeah, we'll give a thumbs up to the massive Justice League.
You got it, my man. Be well, Ian.
All right, take care, Pat.
You too, man. Thank you. That's Ian Castleberry with the Wise Guys. Ian's appearance is presented by Happy Hill Restaurant.